I am in favor of this. We have to manufacture here. We don't have a sustainable system to employ people. We import everything, and it's hurting our economy. So what he did was not even match. He said half of what we're tariffed, we're going to charge these other countries. And of course they're mad because they're used to us being the big guys at the table picking up the bill all the time. But sometimes, even if you have money, you say, all right, guys, you got to pay your fair share. So if you're going to tax us, we're going to tax you. And that's either going to lower their tariffs for our goods, or it's going to make companies come to our country so they can manufacture in-house. We can set up facilities and warehouses in American cities, and we all benefit. So let's hope this works.
Hello. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about Trump's tariffs. People are confused about the situation as well as concerned, and they're going to share their feelings and thoughts about it. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel.
So here we are, it happened. The prices are going up. If you haven't noticed, eggs are increasing, car prices are about to go up, and just everything in general is already about to increase in price. I will admit it happened faster than I thought it would. I thought it would take a little bit longer.
We all know that Trump announced his tariff plan, right? And for those of you who don't understand what a tariff is a tax on goods that come into America. So let's say toothpaste normally costs $100, right? A 25% tariff now makes that toothpaste that normally costs, I think I said $100 or $100 now costs $125, right? To offset the cost, companies then sell that toothpaste for $150 so that they can still make a profit on the product. This is why prices increase when tariffs are put into place, right? Now, not only has he increased the tariff that he originally put out, China has announced their 34% tariff on U.S. goods. What does that do to the stock market? When the cost of living becomes higher, people hold on to their money a lot tighter. People start to pull their money out of stocks because they know that money is not circulating as fast as it normally would in a situation where tariffs aren't a thing, right? So when the American people, they're not shopping, they're not spending money, people that do have money in the stock market start to sell off their stock because they do not want to lose money. As a matter of fact, most of them sell off their stocks early because they've been holding it for a long period of time, right?
I've been thinking, this thing with the tariffs, okay, they are what they are. This is where we are. We don't know what's going to happen, whatever. But when you do not incentivize companies to move back to the States, and you kind of threaten them or bully them into moving back to the States, I wonder what that's really going to look like, because think about this. When you look at just the salaries of what they pay people in Mexico and China and Taiwan and Vietnam, it's like ridiculously lower than what they're going to pay people here. And I remember back in the day, now tell me if I'm wrong, I've never worked in a factory, especially like in a car manufacturer, but I understood that back in the day, they made bank. I mean, they were making some good money. So they're saying now, I did look this up, and they said the average factory worker in the States now makes about $17 an hour. But I don't even see how that's possible that somebody's going to get a job building automobiles for $17 an hour.
So today is protest day, and I wonder how it's been going. I wouldn't know because I ain't been online. But I did want to give a little bit of thought about these tariffs. What I really want to know is, where is all this extra money going to come from for us to pay these hikes in price because of the tariff? Salaries are not going up. Wages are not going up. Where in the world are we supposed to get this extra money from?
It's not just tariffs people are panicked about or even outraged about. You notice there's a lot of outrage right now, a lot of panic, a lot of outrage, a lot of anger, a lot of lashing out. And actually that outrage has been going on for about 10 years now. When you don't understand what's happening, you tend to get angry. That's a very spiritual thing. A lot like a child not getting what they want and they don't understand what's happening and they get angry. We carry that stuff into adulthood, and we're supposed to reconcile it spiritually so that we can move on and see what's actually happening. And when people don't understand something, they get scared of it. I always say the only reason someone just got angry is because their sleep was just disturbed. Have you ever seen how angry someone can get when you disturb their sleep? It's called a rude awakening. Something you're asleep to just got poked at, and it's up to you spiritually to then start searching and realize there's nothing outside of you that's actually going to cause the anger, but you're asleep to something. That's why you get angry, because your sleep just got disturbed. But there's a lot of outrage and panic about a lot of things. But let me tell you something I noticed about people that are invested in the new monetary system, XLM, XDC, XRP, even Bitcoin, any of these assets. There's something interesting about the people that are invested in these. People that are positioned and aware of these assets, and more so those who are aware that the financial system is being changed over, they seem to be less concerned about all this stuff than people that are not paying attention. So what you find is that things like XRP, it's the thread that's missing for them that ties it all together and grounds it. Because if you realize what's happening, all the craziness begins to make sense. The teardowns of the systems, the dismantling of all these agencies, the changing of the guard, the outrageous speed at which the administration's moving to do all this stuff to get us ready for all this. Doesn't make sense if you're not aware. If you are aware, it does make sense. You're not freaked out. You're not like, oh my God, he's exposing all this stuff. Oh my God, he's dismantling the Department of Education and the IRS. It's because it's time for the system to be dismantled and replaced or upgrade or streamlined, however you want to say it. I don't know anybody personally that's in XRP that really gets what's going on, that is panicked about the same thing people are panicked about, that don't realize what's happening. Because the people that are positioned in these assets are inviting it. We're like, hurry it up already.
So this is a really good question. If the tariffs hurt us and not necessarily the other countries as far as who pays the tariffs, why are the other countries so angry? Well, there's a few reasons for this. One, it's the gesture itself. The gesture means that we are no longer in an alliance. The gesture of placing tariffs on a country means that we are not in a cohesive alliance with that country anymore. And in the world of foreign policy, where everyone has interests and everyone, forms alliances based on those interests, it is not in the best interest for one country to have a tariff on another. Another reason is it does kind of hurt the country that the tariff is placed under as well, right? Even though it is us and our people who pay the tariff, the other countries' companies are the ones who are also affected. And even though they're not necessarily as affected as far as having to pay the tariff as ours, their business is interrupted because of the tariffs that now we have to pay. Take Canada, for example. Their companies do a lot of back and forth business with America. There are some companies in America who have to send their products to Canada 4 times before that product is finished. Now, that is, an easy thing to do if you can just go back and forth and there are no extra fees. But now that there are extra fees, they may not send those over there as many times, or they may try to find alternatives to sending those over there. Now, does that make the quality of said item any better? No. They may just go without the item. They may just figure out something else to do, and that hurts sales and business in Canada as well. So that's why these tariffs are a bad thing. When the companies here have to end up paying these tariffs, they may not actually decide to do business with those companies, or the countries in which the companies are in that have the tariff placed on them, right? So these trade wars are good for literally no one. The fact that these countries did nothing to the USA, they have done nothing to us. to create a trade war with people who are supposed to be our allies. Not only is a show that he is not an ally to them anymore, which of course makes them angry, but it also really does hurt their businesses on a local level when businesses can no longer do business with other businesses because the cost is too expensive, and it's just bad. It's just bad for everybody.
People are struggling to live, and they're really having a hard time just to be able to pay their rent and pay their bills. Now, with the Trump's tariffs situation going on, looks like things are only going to get worse. Thanks for watching this video. Have an amazing day.